Okay, we've got the Zvezda M3 Lee US tank. So it's pretty much exactly the same as the Grant, but it does have the American turret rather than the British turret. The American turret's a little higher. It doesn't include a bustle at the back that a radio was put in. So, put this to one side. Okay. More complicated instructions than normal. Aha. And in English as well as Russian. Okay. So, we'll just open this bag up. We've got 2 screws. This may have as many parts as the Battlefront kit, but this may have more parts than the Battlefront kit because the hull is separate pieces rather than being just one at the top. Tracks, front piece, glacis plate, hull, another bit of the hull, top plate, turret, gun that goes. That's the gun that goes with it. That's quite small. Bit of front. Yeah, there's lots and lots of pieces to this kit. So, I'm going to take them all off the sprue and I'll be back with you in a minute. So, that's the 23 pieces of this kit separated from the sprue and cleaned off for mould lines and moulding lugs. That's pretty much as many pieces as there are in the Battlefront kit. And these are quite a bit more fiddly. So, let's have a look. So, this is made up of a series of sub-assemblies. This is one sub-assembly, this is another, this is another, this 1, 2, 3. That gets added to that, that gets added to that. Then that gets stuck to that, and that gets stuck to the pair of them together. Do you follow? Didn't think so. So, this piece connects to this here. So, the snap fit part just goes like that. See? So I'm gonna put a bit of glue here to fix it in place. There we go. The next part is this, which comes into here like that. So, and again the glue comes out. And in that goes, see? So you've got the engine deck done. This just snaps into here. Like so. So that's the first sub-assembly. The next one adds these pieces to it. So you've got this piece on this side, and again you can see how it marries up. So blob of glue there, blob of glue there, and glue along that edge. And then I push that on as far as it'll go, and the join is there. So that's one side piece in. The other side piece, as you can see, that goes on there, like that. So I'm gonna glue it, and a bit of glue on this edge where it meets up the engine deck. Like so. So as you can see, they're flush with this skeleton piece here. This Aha, goes like this. So that should be flush, but isn't, because this should be flush with the outside. And yeah, that's because it's caught it and bent it back instead of doing that has snapped this piece off. So I'll glue it again. This time being super careful to make sure that this comes flush with this piece. Like so. We've got exactly the same problem on the other side. The issue being that that is going to stop that marrying up properly. So, and again, got to pull this bit, and again, one of the guides comes off, one of the pegs comes off. So now we want this piece on the front. I want it to marry up with those pieces. Good lord, this is fiddly. Right, let's get the top on, which should provide a bit more structure. Now, as you can see, it is really starting to come together. But my God, there are a lot of pieces to this. Okay, while we wait for that to set hard, let's do one of the other sub-assemblies. So, the lower hull. This piece pointing down goes into here. I have no idea why that, but it does. So you have the straight bit. So this lines up here, straight bit goes like this, like that. Like so. I've then got this bit, which sits on here. Does it sit that way around? Yes, it does. Like that. See, I'm wondering if it wouldn't be better to fit these pieces first, because I'm thinking it would. So this piece at the back goes bottom down and connects to here like that. Yep, that makes sense. Glue, so like so. So you've got this piece at the back, that piece then comes into the side. I think that making the kit snap fit has made it slightly more complicated, because everything has to have pegs on it. Whereas a bit of glue and a flat surface might be an awful lot easier to get everything to connect. See, there we go. This piece then docks into here, lines up with those pieces. So you know what? Just a blob of glue from the top, push that into place. So that's actually looking substantially better. But this still marries up to there. Use that bit. And that's where this piece docks into. Right, okay. There. And for good measure, let's attach the tracks. So, this larger road wheel goes at the front. Line up the plug holes. And there we go. And now the other side. That's the base of it done. We've got this top bit. Yeah, it's all starting to fit together. So, while that's set in completely, let's work on the turret a little bit. We've got this piece on the side here, which for some reason is separate. I don't know what that reason is, but it is. That's now not separate. We've got this peg section at the top, which as you can see, no matter how many times I keep dropping it, has this bit on the side, which means you've got to turn it and fit it in like so, like that. You then have this turret on the top, which I'm not gonna not glue because it's small, and if it comes off it will get lost in the carpet. There. We also have this 37mm gun. Again, Battlefront made their guns slightly thicker. You'll probably be able to see. in a side-by-side comparison in a moment, but it means that I've got to assemble it as a separate piece. This piece will then dock into there. It has a little peg, so a bit of glue, bang, turret done. So that pops onto there and is then movable. So let's get this out and look at sealing this. Okay, looking at it from a plugging in point of view, we're going to need to put some glue in some different sections. And see if we can get it to stick. So I'm going to hold this closed and see if the different sections will fuse together. This is the bit that's going to be quite boring, but it's necessary, or I'm going to need to start filling in bits of this with liquid green stuff or green stuff. So I'll hold it for another 10-15 seconds. I just want to make sure that the seal is there. Yeah, if I release the pressure, it does start to unbind. So I'm going to hold this like that, and ditto on the sides. I'm going to need to liquid green stuff a little bit of this anyway, no matter what I do, I think. Okay, so next step. Plug this into here, like so. Turret on here, like that. So for comparison, you've got the Battlefront Grant here. So let's try zooming in on these a little more. No, that's zoomed out. Okay, so the Battlefront kit, I would say, is clearly superior. I'll time it in a little bit. I'll see if it actually took me longer to assemble the Zvezda kit. The Zvezda kit has more parts making up. It's the bit making up the top hull that's giving me the problems, because there's so many bits that have got to be aligned perfectly for it to all go together. I mean, the Battlefront kit has got some exaggerated sizes on things like the rivets, like the 37mm gun, like the thickness of the 75 gun. I mean, admittedly, I've used the long 75 on this instead of the short 75, but this wiggles up and down, that turns around side to side. There are pluses and minuses to it. I am going to have to go over this with some liquid green stuff and fill in the gaps, because otherwise it will be very noticeable. I'd say the Battlefront kit is clearly superior. I found the Battlefront kit much easier to assemble. It doesn't mean I might not get a couple more of these, but I am going to sit there knowing that it is going to take me a while to get them together. I will probably find it easier the second time around, but it'll be because I want to represent the Lee, and I want to have a coherent little squadron of them. And if you look at scale, the Battlefront one is slightly larger. The detail's exaggerated. Is it? It's not slightly taller, but part of that is because this has got the British turret on. I don't know if it'd be taller if it had the American turret on, same as the M3 Lee here. The M3 Lee did see British service in the desert. It also saw service with Russia and with part of the US Army first deployed to North Africa in Operation Torch, because they just didn't have enough Shermans. The Lee was a stopgap, full stop, which is why it's got the 75 in this sponson here, because it was a redesign of a tank which only had a 37mm turret, much like the Honey, but a main battle tank with only a 37mm turret, at a time when even the British, with their fondness for 2-pounders, this was a redesign in an emergency of the M2, I believe. They added this sponson here. They couldn't get the Sherman into production quickly enough, and they ended up doing the Lee as the M3 as a stopgap. It got called the Lee or the Grant to avoid confusing it with the M3 Stuart, which is a smaller, lighter tank, and we've got here for comparison. That's how small and light it is in terms of comparison. It's a much smaller tank. But yeah, compared to the Zvezda kits, the M3 here has just as much detail. However, it's a pain to assemble, as you've just watched me suffer through it. I do much prefer the Battlefront M3s. Okay, if you've enjoyed this review and build, like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Thanks for your time.